So this is how we operate. This is a script. This is where 60%, 70% of the time goes. A ridiculous amount of research and understanding how people think and what they look for and what their architecture and their criterias are goes into building the script. This is for an advanced dog food formula from Purina, small company known as Nestle. Not everybody knows Purina, or their Pro Plan series. When we did the research, the second criteria tied actually with first as to why a dog owner would buy advanced formulaic dog food was because doggy farts smell bad. But it's true. If there's any dog owners, and I happen to have 3, when doggy has bowel problems, you leave the living room. Purina didn't want to admit that as true, so when we actually started building the scripts, we wanted to address, right, stable bowel. It was very difficult arguing with the brand team. But you build out your script based on how people think, what they look for, the benefits that it's going to lead, the emotions that you want them to connect with. And these are like chapters in a book. And then when you do your testing and your split testing, you can actually move these chapters around. You can also see that from a dynamic content personalization element, we'll treat, because we have all the conversational blocks, we can actually modify the order of the script based on the individuals in the segment dynamically. Somebody comes in from a specific ad group, block might come in here. Somebody came in with the keyword dog trainer, the dog trainer validation might move up 3 slots. But you need to have the basics of that script. Let me show you to which extent everything is a bloody damn script. You have this content module on the right that has buying guides, buy with confidence, delivery information, etc. For stamp collection, bearing in mind that stamp collection, some of these stamps, this one is 850 quid. You know, you can buy 1 or 2 every day if you want. But this is a fundamental script. This is a story. This makes an enormous amount of impact. We tested and modified this a very large number of times. It was different actually by product segment. It was different for returning and new visitors. It was different based on price points and product categories. This was a particularly high winning variation for the collectible stamps that were on the higher market side, right? It wasn't for stamps that were under 5 quid. Everything changed. The specificity, the details, the order of the modules, how the information was communicated, the satisfaction elements. And you'd say, come on, a module like that, it doesn't make a lot of impact. 51% increase in add to cart. 30% net increase in conversion. This wasn't done overnight. It took us 4 months to figure it out. The balance is incredibly delicate. It didn't work for all segments. And then delivering the right module by segment became the biggest trick. But the whole point is, first, we look at it as a script. Now that you have your script, it's time to call in the hotshot designer that's probably overpaid, and generally I always offend 1 or 2 people here, so I'll start with designers. Designers are absolutely important, right? They're absolutely essential. You can't live without them. The problem is they have nothing to do if you don't have the right script. And that's because we understood the element of attention as being a proactive element that is guided through my focal point. Now that you've built your script, you need to have people try to read that script in the right order. And that's where design comes in. It doesn't come in at the beginning when you sort of feel uneasy and you say, my site could do with a refresh. What's the point? If you haven't worked on the value proposition, the script and the conversational sequence that you're going to have, you actually have nothing to redesign. So leave it alone. And visual design can absolutely manipulate how the eyes maneuver through a page, right? Right now, when this guy, I'll do it again, hop, where do your eyes go? They'll look right into his eyes and then focus right here. And it'll take you a few seconds to see that the word direction is in the top right corner. And visual design is absolutely there to influence where I want the eye to go, immediately to the word direction. The contrast is amazing, but that makes you understand what the intent and purpose of visual design is for. And stock photography should not be used, first of all, unless it is used to what we call push attention in the right direction. And it's not easy. But if your designers and your team sit around a page and go, oh, that's so pretty. But you know that shade of orange is really not art. Oh my God, are you wasting your time? Visual design is designed to support a script and guide the eye and visual attention through that script. Because there are no social conventions to read a page. Sure, you'll start in the top left, but unlike books, right, you read it from the first page. You don't randomly read different pages in a Tom Clancy novel, because at the end of the day, you know the Russians are still going to lose. But we don't have those conventions online. So the ability to manage eye flow is absolutely essential. So it's only once you have the script that you can work on the design. And then you can have doggy looking at title, movement, and then you can tell a potentially very long story. But the design element of this, for example, was very, very quick. Why? Because the script was immaculate. And it took a hell of a long time. One of the key ways we look at things is through what we call a value fulcrum. And everybody actually understands this. You all know this. You just needed me to refresh it for you. But you'll all be proud to go, man, I knew that. If you want a person to take an action, click, add to cart, navigate through a site, scroll down a page, you need to give him a reason. And there's this constant challenge in our brains that's happening between, on the right-hand side, the perceived effort of doing something and the perceived benefit or value of doing something. On the right-hand side, we often have these elements of anxiety. And there's three components to anxiety. There's the elements that are going to make me doubt the validity of your product, right? I don't know if this camera is actually going to do what I want it to do. There's the doubts on the supplier, the person or the brand, right? Are you really a trustworthy person? Because, you know, those Chinese manufacturers, I'm sort of, But a Huawei 3G phone works a hell of a lot better than an iPhone S, especially when you drop it. The third one that we often don't think about is the logistical side. You don't have faith in the ability to deliver the service. If you don't know when you're going to receive your product, if we didn't put in delivery details and said you'll get your product within, say, 5 to 45 days, it might be the best product in the world, but you're not going to wait that long. And if you don't believe that concept, then you got to explain it to Amazon and their overnight delivery systems, which, by the way, they're looking at hourly delivery in California right about now. The second component is friction. There's two big parts of friction. We understand that friction is all this UX stuff, right? I don't understand the buttons, I can't find them, I don't see the links, etc., etc. So it's all the things that get in the way. But the second element of friction that we often don't think about is the things that distract me from the goal. Reviews that are in the wrong place, additional content that takes me away from the focus of reading the value proposition and understanding what the product is all about. Then people come with motivation, and the whole intent of the optimization exercise is to at least protect the initial motivation that a person came with, and if not, trying to enhance it. And the way that most people do this is through the incentive. And the incentive, we all understand it because that's all we seem to be able to do. An incentive is 20% off, buy one, get one free. If 20% doesn't work, I'll up it to 30%. If that doesn't work, next year I'll do 40%. And I just like to erode my revenue without really increasing my sales. Why? Because actually working on the value proposition is the hardest thing to do. It makes you look inwards, and because unfortunately a lot of bigger businesses have a lot of staff rotation, the ability to truly understand why your product is great. How does it help a person's life? How does it help connect with benefits? How does it benchmark to other products? Let's just discount it. We have these arguments with our clients all the time, and it's difficult and a lot of fun in most circumstances. But one of our clients is Avis, and they rent cars. They don't manufacture the cars. They buy the same cars as every single other car rental company does. So when we say, Avis, what's your unique value proposition that allows you to charge 25% more? What do they answer? Because we're Avis. So crafting out that value proposition is really difficult, and we try to figure out with them. And I have to admit, we struggle. I go, well, you know, you got to legitimize that 25% more. It's okay, we bought budget. They can get it for cheaper on the other brand. Same car. So you can actually understand, looking inwards and identifying, why on God's earth would I buy it from you, your product, your logistics? How does it benchmark against similar products? How do I connect with the benefits? What are the problems that I resolve? How does it make my life better? And ultimately, at the end of that script, we actually try to plan what is the emotion we want the person to feel. Is it, wow, that's cool? Or, finally I found it. Because you need to tailor that script to drive that emotion, and you know that when you get that emotion, that person will have that momentum to convert through the line. When we think about conversion optimization, what we often think about is all that split testing mumbo jumbo. And you know what? The split testing part is perhaps the coolest part, right? The ability to transform a website without actually changing the website, giving it an entirely different look and feel, being able to modify the content, the design, the user experience on the fly without ever having to deal with an IT person, a dream. But if you don't do these exercises previously in terms of understanding the audience and what are the changes that you're making, then there's really no point in just testing random things. So there's sort of two sides to the optimization coin. The first one is looking at the modification of the entire user journey. The ability to transform and create different scripts at the message level and carry that through the entire user journey, modifying the product, the messaging, the pricing, tailored to those individuals. The second component of the optimization exercise is actually evolving a site's retail strategy. And in this particular case, it was 1 year, or a little bit more actually, about 1.5 years. This is the before and this is the end result. But it wasn't about the design. It was about figuring out how customers behaved, how they purchased. And the research, a little bit late I have to admit, this is for memory foam mattresses that cost a hefty amount of money. I bought one, cost about two grand. Best amount of money I ever spent in my life, by the way. So let me just promote memory foam mattresses. But here we identified, for example, that 60% of people weren't buying for themselves. They were buying for somebody else. Now that changes your entire content and retail strategy. Then we identified that there was 4 or 5 typical types of ailments, and depending on who bought for whom, the ailment was also different. So we built a little matrix. Who's buying for whom and for which ailment? My son snores. My wife keeps tossing and turning and jabbing me in the back. My God, my husband, his lower lumbars are killing him. My neck, ow, my neck. So the optimization exercise was to build a retail environment that allowed you to be able to tailor the storyline depending on what the person was looking for, the ailment, and who that person was buying. The ability to change the entire retail structure in order to facilitate the marketing activities to specific audiences. And that had pretty amazing results. From a technical perspective, if nobody really understands how A/B testing technology works, it basically allows you to show the original page to a group, guys on the left, and a different page or modified page to that page to the right. But the original page on the website is actually never, ever changed. The control will see the original page, you'll see a different page, but that happens inside your device, which is why you actually never need to bother with changing code on the website. And then you measure the different goals, including conversion, to see which variation worked the best. So for example, on the people on the left, we'll show the control. But here on the right, you can see this is a product selection form for the guys at the international edition of the New York Times, which are a few stands behind. And this is actually the same page. Only half of the people see the modified page, and this is the control. But in fact, the web server is always sending the original page. But by a miracle, 50%, or we can control who, will see the improved page. Right? And that's how the validation side works. In this case, it helped get an increase of 21% of added to cart. But the point being, the technology is the very cool part. It's the one with all the bells and whistles. When you hear the sales spiels, it's revolutionary, it's game changers. But the reality is that technology is no replacement for how you communicate with a person's brain. I'm going to walk you through a very quick example to show you that if you think about what you're doing and you're writing that script, then you're realizing that that's where you're going to get an increased level of engagement. This is an affiliate site for gambling accounts. Now, I know that if I ask, how many people here have a poker account? Raise your hands. Nobody's going to raise it because you know that you're being filmed. I have 14 of them, so I'm not ashamed. I'm already at stage 2, admitting my faults. But these individual modules are fundamental scripts. And I'm going to take the first one and read the first sentence here. Now, everybody understands how affiliate marketing works, right? These little modules are on a website whose domain name costed $12 million. So you better get a return on that investment. The intent is that People are going to see these reviews. They're going to want to click over to the casino sites. They're going to register. They're going to deposit money, and they make a commission. It's a commission for a referral. Please tell me if this is going to get you to register to the poker website. Of course, everybody in the back can read this, but it says, relatively new site is highly entertaining and engaging. You see, you can have the best design in the world, but a relatively new product, a relatively new site, that's fun. It's fun. Come and give me money. It's fun. And engage. No, but this is a script, a very bad one, very lazy one. If you modify the script to be specific and tangible, and you said, for example, innovative 3D games with higher payouts, and you just went old school, specific, quantifiable, and tangible. We are not the best hotel on Nikos Island. We were voted #1 by TripAdvisor as the best hotel on Nico Island. Click here to see. So here maybe you quantify and specify the parameters of the casino, number of games, the size of jackpots, or you build a different script. And you go, right, we're specialized in sports betting. And we're going to do a pros and cons, what we're good at, what we're not, so as to save you time. And this approach is a lot more credible. When you look at how a couple of hundred people then spend their time, what they spend their time looking at in this module, you'll see that you didn't really need to redesign. You need to build a script that engages. And naturally, the attention will go back to that storyline. The better the storyline, the higher level of engagement. It is only when you look at this and you go back and you think back to that element of the value fulcrum, give me a reason to act. The problem is we want people to act, but we always forget to connect and give them that reason to act. Everybody knows what a smoke detector is? When was the last time you bought a smoke detector? Yell it out above the crowd. A year. Was it an important purchase? Did you drag yourself over to buy it? I was like, oh, frickin' hell, I gotta go buy my own. And generally, people will try to buy the cheapest smoke detector. You know, you're not gonna buy the cheapest smoke detector. You'll always try to spend a couple of extra quid above the cheapest one because you go, right, if it's really that Chinese piece of crap, I might die. But you're always trying to save a couple of bucks, and they're very, very ugly. Turns out that this $20 smoke detector is one of the most sophisticated smoke detectors on the planet. But you still have to discount, right? And this is an ugly page, but the intrinsic detectors, right, the components in this one, off the charts. It doesn't consume any battery life, it'll last for 5 years, it's totally awesome. Three too many particles of carbon monoxide, bing, the thing fucking lights up like a siren in World War II, wakes up everybody. It does the job perfectly. Who knows Nest? Raise your hands. You want to understand how to write a product and a product storyline? All of a sudden comes Nest. The product is sexy, it talks to you, boom! Your living room is on fire. Your living room is on fire. You're like, dude, I'm 2,000 miles away. Thank you for connecting with my smartphone. Can you switch on the video camera so they can see it burn? The entire product and storyline is absolutely designed. The videos are amazing. You see the little girl walking through the house and the little nest lights up, and but that's a story. Their site's not even adaptive. Nobody gives a damn. Hey, you put the two products together. This one is better than this one. For all intents and purposes of saving lives. This one looks cooler. This one saves lives. This one is $18.17 on Amazon with free shipping. This one's 99 quid. If you actually read the reviews for Nest, it sucks, right? 3.5 stars, just like the Amazon Fire Phone. Bet everybody likes it. But the story here is unbelievable. You read the site and you just click and you're like, oh my God, and it connects to my app and it talks to my daughter. And it's like, where's the next one? You know, I'm gonna buy 3 because I can network connect them. It's all super cool. You'll never be able to set it up. You don't give a damn 5 days later. It's like, boom, everything's okay in your kitchen. Seriously? Boom, in your living room as well. Every day, it's like, oh, boom, yeah. But, you know, a couple of years later, Google bought Nest for $3.2 billion. They're still selling this one at B&Q. And that's the difference between a fantastic and extraordinary storyline that you can charge that beautiful premium for features and functionality nobody gives a damn other than make sure that I get out of the house before I burn to death, right? So the whole concept is, and if you can learn or remember anything, yes, technology is wonderful, but it is a fantastic way to get the right story to the right audience as fast as possible. If you don't have a good storyline, you don't have the right content, you're just shoveling crap a little bit faster to a little bit more people, right? So I think that pretty much concludes it. I'm going to finish with this one sentence. And this is from the president of entertainment for Xbox. So Microsoft, Xbox, pretty decent company. And this is what she says. It starts with great content. I didn't make this up. All these interactive features are something they want, the audience or the consumer. It's something that the audience wants to engage with, provided that the content resonates with them. So I'm very flattered that the president is taking some of my thought process. They want to be more involved with the storytelling. So technology at this point will enable them to engage even more so. Technology is an enabler of an amazing content storyline crafted for individual audiences so that your conversations can go from a conversation of one-to-many to a conversation of one-to-one. Thank you for putting up with me, and sorry for all the cursing.